Hi everyone.
Hi, Pao.
Hi world. Um, it's great to be here. It's great to be back. I want to thank again all the people behind this course, all the translators, all the tech team, all of you for being here. Welcome once again. Today is our third session out of 4 classes course, and we are right halfway. And we truly want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to share this time with all of you. And yes, something I want to tell you before we start the class. I was thinking to say that you are all amazing people, special people, bodhisattvas. Your motivation to stop your pain and your negative emotions and the pain in others is so powerful. And it seems too much sometimes because it is a hard practice, but it's also the key to a fun, meaningful life. So thank you for being here. And today, Dr. Wordsmith will start the session with the ultimate method of how to end negative emotions. Yay!
I will? Okay. Uh, I want to know. I'm joking. Um, sorry, my Zoom is a little choppy. Okay. Oh, look, my book. You should buy
Yeah.
it. Thank you again. This class has been inspired by my book, The Golden Key, translated mostly by Geshe Michael Roach and a little bit by Dr. Wordsmith. And in it, it talks about clearing the most subtle seeds of pain, negative emotions. And we use those lines to inspire this, excuse me, 4-part class, which is GBOCS. GBOCS means Great Book Oral Commentary Classics Commentary Series. Yeah, and so the great book in this case is The Golden Key. Um, okay, so the ultimate method. The thing I like about this practice is A, it's 100% practical. Okay? B, it's 100% logical. And C, if you use it, it works. Um, again, I'm not a religious person. I don't care. I don't care if you call me Christian or Buddhist or Taoist or I don't know. You probably wouldn't call me Jewish, but I wouldn't care either. Okay? Um, I don't care about religion. I care about feeling better and helping other people feel better. And so first you have to understand why we don't feel good, right? And so generally what happens to people is, they're having their lives, yada, 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 things seem okay. And then something horrible happens to them. Like something very horrible. Like, yeah, like this guy. He's not having a good time. Like you feel like you're gonna, you feel someone dies in your life, or you feel like you're gonna die because it hurts so much. Something happens. I don't know. Someone leaves you, or I don't know, your country goes to war, or um any variety of the many horrible things um, that can happen to you. There's a famous comic. He's dead now, but he's quite insightful, named Norm Macdonald, and he said he's like people get mad when I talk about how difficult life is, and they're like, "What are you talking about? How difficult life is?" He's like, "Where are you living? What life are you living?" Really? And the thing is, either it will happen to you. If it hasn't happened to you, it's about to happen to you. And the worst thing is, if it doesn't happen to you till you die, on your deathbed, you realize you're gonna lose it all. That's even worse. So hopefully, before that happens, you have a disaster because it's the thing that can wake you up. It doesn't wake you up self-existently, by the way. People have disasters all the time and they still don't do anything. They still don't change their lives. But the idea is something occurs, something that's very difficult. And then you start to think, what is it all worth? Why am I here? How did I get here? Why? And the main question people always ask, why me? Right? Um, there's kind of a joke when something bad happens, people are like, why me? But when something good happens, they don't ask why me. They're like, yeah, me. So something bad happens to you. And then you start to really question things. Um, and from that questioning, you have like an internal resolution, resolve, and you kind of make a decision inside yourself that mm, you have to find an answer. You you there has to be another way, um, or you can't continue to live life the way you had, you know? Um, and it hurts if you're in the middle of a crisis and you start to have these realizations, these understandings. There's a lot of pain mixed with it. Um, but you can have this inner resolve that you just say, okay, F it. I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna continue to live, and there's got to be another way. All right? Okay. And so from that point on, um, from that point on, uh, you start to look for somebody who can explain things to you, who can help you, right? And if you try really hard, I don't know, it took me between the disaster and the explanation was 9 years for me. Okay. Wait, yeah, 9 years. And it was crazy, a crazy 9 years. I didn't just sit around crying. I traveled all over looking for a teacher, reading book after book after book, asking questions, talking to my friends, um, really meditating, trying very hard to understand what happened. And I don't know, I'm a little different, I think, because I realized my whole life had been a disaster. I just sitting on the couch after college and I was like, wait, everything is either a disaster or a worse disaster that's about to happen. Or you're gonna die and realize the whole thing was a disaster. Either way, okay? And so from there, I was like, I have to find someone to explain to me the way out. And I looked very hard and I thought about it a lot. Um, and finally, um, the next thing happened. So the first thing is a disaster. Then it's the explanation of why the disaster happened. And we call it the pen thing. Our teacher, um, Geshe Michael Roach, uh, basically summed up all of religion, spirituality, in the mouth of a puppy. What is it? Cucharo? Cuchuro?
Cachorro.
Cachorro, yeah, cachorro. In Spanish is cachorro, cachorrito. So here we have a picture of a puppy, um, with a chew toy, right? Or is it? So that's the foundation. That's the explanation, the pen thing. Um, you know, here we go. Here we go. What's this? Pow, what's this?
Pen.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it is. Look, it even writes. Okay, it's a pen. Um, but if a cachorro was here and I was like, come on, and I waved it in front of its mouth, what would it do?
A chew toy.
Right? It's a chew toy. It would bite it, right? Um, yeah. So to the puppy, is it a pen or is it a chew toy? To the puppy, pal.
Chew toy.
Yeah, yeah. So and but to you, it's a pen, right?
Mhm.
It writes. I actually used a pen recently. I stopped using pens like 5 years ago. I only use pens for the pen thing. I don't use them to write anymore. Um, I just use my computer. But yeah, so wait. So the question is, which one is it really? How? Come on, puppies are stupid. It's a pen.
Me, us.
I'm human. We made pens. It's a pen, not a chew toy, right?
Right. That's what we
No.
think. That's what we think.
Yeah, that's how we think. But it depends, right? Some people put in the chat. What does it depend upon? Anybody? Just yell out the answer.
Anastasia says, potential, who looks, your seats.
Yeah, I like who looks. Who's looking at? Okay, thank you, Svetlana. Who's looking at? Okay, good. Yeah, it depends who's looking at it. All right? But here's the million-dollar question we say in English. If I take this pen and I just put it right here on my computer, right? This chew toy, this chew pen, and I put it on my computer here, and I take, come on, puppy, let's go eat something. Come on, come on, come on, come on, puppy, come on. You know, and we both leave the room. What is this object when me and the puppy and and nobody else is in the room?
Ula says, nothing yet, nothing, nothing and everything, nothing.
Nothing? You're
Mhm.
telling me nothing exists unless I'm looking at it? Is that what you're saying?
Sarani says, what object?
Wait, answer my question. You're all right, of course. But answer my question. You're telling me nothing exists unless I'm looking at it. Yes or no? Ula says yes. I agree. So wait, so what happens then though? I the puppy gets away from me. The cachorro is like and runs back in the room. As soon as the puppy runs back in the room, what is the object then?
Chew toy.
Tristan says chew toy. Okay, and I run after the puppy. Don't pee on the bed. No. What is the object then? Pen. Okay. By the way, can someone come up with a GIF? I want a GIF of someone doing this so I can just all the questions that people ask me in on WhatsApp, I can just send them this GIF. Okay, someone make a GIF. So tell me, which one where is the pen coming from? Is it coming like this, screaming penness, or is it coming like this? Yeah, this way, right? From me, from me, from observer, Alexander says. Yeah, exactly. Which means, and our is pen or chew toy any different than the rest of your world? Any other object in your world?
No.
Kristen says no. Okay, good. Good. So, is it any different than your finger or your arm? How about that? As being an object? No, Kristen says. Good. Ula says more O's. No. No, it's not. That means then the only question is what makes it a pen to you? What makes it a chew toy to the cachorrito, right? Or what makes this hand and not paw? Why am I speaking words not going "ruh, ruh, 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 ruh"? Roxanne, are you translating that? "Ruh, ruh, ruh." Okay. Yeah, and we say what you did in the past, how you treated others. And once you get that explanation, then we say you're on a whole new path in life. And that path is the path of preparation. All right. Um, prepare for what? Okay. By the way, there's other translations. It's called Jorlam. Say Jorlam.
Your lamb.
Yeah. The Jor, there's like 38 ways to translate this Jor. Uh, but people call it what? The path of joining or something sometimes? Because Jor can mean to join. It's not that good of a translation. Okay. In this case, it means preparation, right? Preparing for what? Someone put DPE, which means direct perception of emptiness. And it's logical, okay? It's logical. Um, I just taught a class right before this one about this. It makes sense. You're understanding that this object, which you perceive and use validly as a pen, just like have fingers validly, um, and can speak and, have a body and you're human validly, um, is coming from you means that you can completely change yourself and your world, which means the disaster that happened that put you on the first path, which is called Tsoklam, the path of accumulating um, or gathering the merit to be on Jorlam, okay? Uh, you start to get that answer. You're like, oh, I somehow inadvertently created that disaster in my life. I created this kind of life, which is a disaster. All right. And you have to study it over and over. Okay. So I'm going to teach you this amazing thing that I love. How much time do I got left, pal? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? Okay. I don't want to go over. I'm going to teach you this amazing thing. It's called the five powers. All right. And I think it's the coolest thing ever. Uh, Yeah.
But if we keep teaching the five path and then the four powers after that or not?
No, five powers of Jorlam. I'm going to teach him. We
Okay.
talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it. Um, so on Jorlam, not that. You're gonna
No.
do that.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
it's fine. It's fine. So there's five things if you do successfully, if you do well on Jorlam, you can have the direct perception of emptiness. And I'm very thankful for Dr. Kramer and Geshe Michael, because they had it memorized and they kept talking about it, and I thought it was so cool. I memorized it, and then it got in my head, and I kept thinking about it over and over, and then I was like, oh, okay. Um, so the Sanskrit you don't have to know, but I'll put a seed in your mind. Um, Sraddha, Smriti, Virya, um, Samadhi, and Prajna. Okay? I think it's in the Yoga Sutras too. Um, so here we go. The first one is having faith. And that doesn't mean um, just believing something for no reason. It means you understand the pen thing so clearly, right? That you go about your day and your life doing good things to project a beautiful world and to project the perfect understanding of that directly, which is the direct perception of emptiness. Okay? That's what faith means there. Is it Smriti Shraddha? Okay, so you have that faith in your heart, and then throughout the day you smriti, which means remember. You constantly recall it, meaning if someone starts yelling at you on the street, um, I had something bad happen in my neighborhood recently. Some man is bothering my children and doing bad things. And in my head, and you want to be like, oh, he's so bad. What's wrong with him? But then you have to be like, oh, my childhood. I was so bad. You have to remember that you did something which is now creating that now because that man has no nature of his own. He's like the object when you and the puppy leave the room. Okay? Then virya, effort. Then you have to make a concerted effort, work very hard to think that way, to continuously be that way, you know, literally throughout your day. This is not just in class or something. This is with your partner, at work, on the street, when you're driving your car and people are cursing at you and giving you the finger. Um, those times when you would get upset. Okay? Next is meditation. So then you have to take that faith, that recollection, and that effort into meditation. Okay? And it's like a ladder because you keep having faith, because you keep remembering, because you work so hard, your karma will start to accumulate up and up and up. And so when you go to meditate on it, you'll start to be able to meditate more deeply and more deeply. And because of that deep meditation that you do more and more, which is samadhi, you will reach prajna, wisdom, and you'll start to have realizations and deeper understandings of that thing, which is emptiness, which is understanding things are coming from you only, right? And then because you did that, how?
Yes, you reach Tonglan. Do you want
Chuchok
to?
first, the pot. Chuchok. You'll see a pot. You'll because you did that and helped your teacher, you'll see a pot on the stove, and you won't see it as a pot. You'll see it as an image coming out of your mind. And you'll be like, "Oh, oh my God, it's true." Okay? All right.
Mhm.
So that's the five powers, and that's how it leads. That's how it prepares you for a direct perception. And Powell will explain more about that.
Thank you. Thank you, Ward. Yes, so the best thing that can happen to you is seeing emptiness directly, because you will stop the main negative emotions, the negative afflictions, the mental afflictions in your mind, like jealousy, hatred, anger. I mean, in the ultimate way, you will stop like all the causes of suffering, right? But if you don't see emptiness, maybe they will stop for a while. Then they will come back. They will grow again. Can you stop your anger before you see emptiness? Yeah, you can, for a while, right? A few days maybe, but it will come back. It will always come back until you see emptiness directly. Those negative thoughts, those negative emotions will always come back. Say the pot on the stove experience. And that's the moment that you understand. That's the moment that you first catch a picture coming out of your mind. It's the first time in your whole life or lifetimes that you see a seed opening, a samskara, a karmic seed opening in your mind. You see the picture coming out. You see the picture leave from your forehead, and you see the picture labeling the object or land on the pot, on the stove. And in the ancient books, they call it touching the diamond world, right? And you need for that a telescope. Okay, you got to go into a deep meditation, very, very high level of concentration, to make it possible. If you are not meditating an hour a day, you cannot get to this level of concentration, to samapati. Not possible. It will never happen. So if you want to guarantee that you will suffer indefinitely, then learn to meditate, or you just have to keep trying to get to an hour. If you don't meditate, then definitely you will suffer. We will suffer completely over and over. Things will mess up over and over. It's like we are not getting more healthy. There is a song, we're not getting any younger, baby. I like that song because it reminds me, okay, I'm not getting younger next year. It doesn't work like that. You have to be able to go into a deep state of meditation. So you saw the pot on the stove. You serve the tea to your teacher, right? You clean up the dishes because you cannot see emptiness without doing the dishes, meaning without service, right? Right, Pachi? No, but let me tell you something that just happened last week. Right after our class on Saturday, I went back home because I'm teaching from the clubhouse. And as soon as I opened the door, everything was clean, you guys. everything, the dishes, the bed, Shanti's toys, everything was in order. I was like, wow. So, and I was like feeling bad because, oh my God, I just shared that. It's hard for you to clean sometimes, you know? And so I, I mean, I have to say it was an offering for Mother's Day here in Mexico. But even after that, he's been doing the dishes. And this is true. So we could say that, oh, he just saw how happy he made me. And now he's doing the dishes. But I truly believe the reason this is happening is because I'm planting the seeds with all of you to overcome our negative emotions together. So yes, I want to celebrate that. Anyway, so you saw the pot on the stove. You serve the tea to your teacher. You clean up the dishes. And then you go to a private, beautiful meditation place. And when you reach that, you can, if you have studied Chichedrak with Adam a lot, and if you have served other people a lot, if you keep your morality a lot, and to do that, you need to study it with certain classes, right? And if you have a qualified teacher, then everything triggers that you touch the diamond world. And during that moment, you cannot think, oh, I did it, because that's not the diamond world. You cannot have other thoughts at the same time. You can only be in emptiness, okay? You can't have any thoughts. Impossible. If it's not emptiness, you can have it. It's 100% focus, 100%. And the day you see emptiness directly, you will have the power to meet all living beings in the universe, one by one. I heard Geshe said once that a Martian will show up and he will say, life is hard on Mars. And you say, don't worry, I will take care of it. That's what a real bodhisattva does. I will take care of it, even if no one helps me. Then one by one, as you process, you reach new levels and you drop certain kinds of negative emotions. So next, one by one, you will get over certain, like kinds of anger, certain kinds of jealousy, whatever is like, your main negative emotion, and all the secondaries, you get rid of all of them. And you get rid of the obvious anger first, and then you get rid of feeling a little upset when, I don't know, you're sitting on the toilet, or, like it's called the teeny part. It's the ninth part, the ninth levels, right? Where like you just start getting rid of like the big anger, then the medium, then the small, and like that until it's over. So suppose you are a person who just came out of touching the diamond world, okay? And you haven't got rid of the big anger yet. You're still, I'm sorry, 100% as miserable person as you were when you were standing in front of the stove. You see what I mean? Like now the work starts. Now the real work starts. You have to get used to what you saw. And that's called Gomlam. It's called habituation, the path of habituation. So normally, if you study diamond way properly, you can reduce it to one life, right? You can reach Buddhahood in one life. But in the first day, in the first 10 minutes after you just came out of touching the diamond world, normally is a 7 lifetimes. You got a 7 lifetimes to go. If you're going to shorten that, maybe it's because you are going to talk with Lama Sarani, Lama John, Conila, real teachers that will help you in your diamond way path in this lifetime. But it cannot get worse than that. It's impossible. It cannot happen. Like compared to countless lifetimes, compared to infinite lifetime, 7 is not so bad, right? So a person who didn't have the pot on the stop experience yet and didn't have the direct experience of emptiness, they still have some wisdom. Like us, like me, we read books. I mean, I don't know who you are. Maybe you already saw emptiness directly. But if you're like me, we read books. We study the GBOCS programs with the next teachers and next programs. And we hear Geshe talk about the pen, and we will continue listen to this teaching. So we do have some wisdom. We do have some understanding. And we have it a lot in words and text. And it's kind of referred to how a seed stains to the foundation consciousness. So in our minds, if you are not an area yet, someone who saw emptiness directly, we can understand. We still can understand the pen. That's true. But our mind is still poisoning with this misunderstanding. With this misunderstanding of where things are coming from. We haven't seen the pot on the stove, so that means that we still have an active misunderstanding of the world. That seed is there. So we still think the pen was made in a factory when we think about the pen, or when we teach about the pen. We still think the irritating person in our work is coming from the irritating person. Okay, so we still have that. Sosokewas, people who haven't seen emptiness directly, don't understand where all these problems are coming from, and we still have a seed for it, and is still affecting our minds, because it's similar case for a person who did see emptiness directly, because their mind starts to lie to them. They look at a pen and they still think, oh, the pen is coming from the fabric. Or they look at the pen after they touch the diamond world, and they still, these things will come back. These thoughts will come back. They forget what they saw. You see what I mean? So if you question them, where's the pen coming from? They will say, oh, yeah, it's not coming from its own side. They understand, but their past habits are so strong that they still go back to seeing things the wrong way. So that's what we say, that you need to get used to. You need to habituate to what you saw. So even if you saw it, they still see stuff. They still get upset. They still get jealous. They still have desire. It's just those emotions are damaged permanently for what they saw. They are weak and they will fall apart eventually. They are in the process of failing apart. The anger, the desire, the jealousy, seeing the world not coming from you, that is just about to end. In an area, a person who saw emptiness directly can still be jealous, but not with the whole heart. Like they are like, oh, I think I'm jealous. I think I want another, I don't know, pastry after the class, but they can't really feel it 100%. Okay, so that's what happens after you see emptiness directly. You damage those seeds forever. You are in the path to end all the causes of your pain. And then what's next? We're
Yay, thank you. Uh, so yeah, Gomlam. Yeah, through seeing emptiness directly, um, we then we have to see emptiness more than one time to get rid of all of our mental afflictions, all our negative emotions. Um, and that is the practice of clearing the more subtle seeds, right? You go down through them layer by layer, like Pao was saying. You habituate to the fact that things have no nature, and therefore there's nothing to be upset about. It's only changing your habits that's necessary. Um, and so, yeah, and what is that process? And there's a process of changing your habits, purification. So I'm obsessed with the Wheel of Life. It's a little complicated, but so we're not going to get into it here, but it's basically how we have all these problems, how they keep coming to us over and over again, how samsara keeps happening. And I was thinking about the wheel, one second. I was thinking about the wheel one day pretty deeply, and then I started thinking about the four powers, which is a method of purifying or basically stopping the bad karmas from occurring, right? That you've done in the past. And I was thinking about it really deeply, and I was like, wait a second. The practice of the four powers is Buddhism. We think it's some like crazy extra thing or something, but it's just Buddhism. So wait, what are the four powers? Um, Basically, the four powers are understanding emptiness. Understand your with your understanding of emptiness, either from direct perception. If you're on Gomlam, it's direct perception, or from your intellectual understanding, if you're on Jorlam still. Uh, Either way, it's you take that understanding. Uh, Sorry, my Zoom. You take that understanding and you say, this the stupidest thing I could do is hurt people. Or any way I've ever hurt people, that was a very stupid thing to do, right? Because it's only going to result in a bad thing for me. All right. So, with that understanding, you're like, okay, I'll stop doing that. So yeah, so it's Buddhism. What's Buddhism? Understanding what you did and what will come as a result of it, because things have no nature except what you did. And then in your heart, being, if it's a bad thing, being like, oh, that was a stupid thing to do. But if it's a good thing, rejoicing for it, right? Being excited and happy that you did it because it's the smartest thing you could have done. Okay. Um, okay. And so then from there, there's the key to all of it. You stop doing the bad thing. Or even the opposite. start doing the good thing, right? If you're trying to get rid of a bad seed, you stop doing it. And the more strongly that this is founded upon your understanding of emptiness, the more quickly you'll purify um, anything stopping you from your ultimate goal. And it can happen very quickly. You can purify extremely fast. Uh, what's the only problem with purifying that fast? How? What happens to people who purify fast?
Hard. Or what?
Yeah, headaches.
Headaches.
Yeah. Lord Buddha said people who use this in the diamond cutter, he said people who use this practice, who
Mhm.
understand these teachings well and use it, will have a lot of problems. And you're like, wait, I thought this was to avoid problems, right? Um, and it's ultimately will end the problems, but what it does is it ripens the problem as it's occur before it can fully flourish. So it happens like the beginning of a problem. So instead of having a car crash, you'll have a headache. You understand? Um, and it usually doesn't last long, maybe a day or two, okay? And then you feel better than you ever have in maybe ever or in a long time. Anyway, so that's the process of the four powers. And then the last step is to then basically do something different. And they usually say the best thing to do is to study emptiness deeply. And so then you're making a whole new loop. You're using your understanding of emptiness to stop doing bad things or start doing good ones, and then studying emptiness more deeply to then understand why you should stop doing bad things and start doing good things, etc. And um and that's basically the process of purification and Gomlam, which is applying everything you learned either intellectually or learning the direct perception of emptiness or both to your life and everything you see in your world, which then leads to the last path, which is not. By the way, what does path mean in Buddhism? Does anybody know? What does Lam actually mean? Put it in the chat. Yay! Thank you. Thank you, Lam. Teacher Sarakdi says realization. She's quite right. Basically, uh, without, generally speaking, without meditation, you can't have um, you can't go to the next path. And so you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper in meditation, basically for all these levels, to then go to the next path, right? So the next path means the next level of realization, you could say. Um, and the last level is kind of a result of the fourth one, which is Buddhahood, which I love, and I love the name. They don't call it the last one. They don't call it Buddhahood. They call it no more classes. You don't have to go to class anymore. Miloplam. Uh, you graduate, okay? And you graduate to Buddhahood. You're no longer a student. Me, not Lop, student, Lam, that path of realization. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So now you know, next time your life blows up, smile because you are just clearing the path for something beautiful. You are purifying, right? When things fall apart, don't panic. You are just being pushed. You are burning up old karma. You clear the weeds for something good can grow. And yeah, when everything seems too smooth, then we should worry. Okay, let's do a 5 minutes or 4 minutes meditation. So that will be the end of this class. So please prepare. This is going to be a Tonglen meditation for your future self. So close your eyes. Take a moment to settle in. Bring your attention to your breath. Soft, steady, natural breath. Relax your face, smile. And now visualize yourself in the very near future, right before one of your most common negative emotion appear. That one emotion that tend to take over, whether it's anger, sadness, frustration, guilt, or just continuing seeing things not coming from you. And pause that scene as if you press a pause button on a movie. So you're looking at your future self and you see how this negative emotion is rising, growing, making you feel uncomfortable. And it's about make you react maybe towards someone else or inward against yourself. And visualize that emotion as a black smoke inside your body. And with every inhale, begin to gather all the smoke. The smoke is pulled to the center of your chest. Where it starts forming a small, dense, black marble. This is your emotion concentrated. But you are going to transform it. So now see your meditating self. And at the center of your chest, a beautiful rose, red rose appears. And resting upon it, a shining diamond. The rose represents your compassion, the diamond, your wisdom. With every breath in, visualize that black marble raising up slowly through your chest, your throat, your nose, until it's coming out right in front of your nostrils. Take a moment here and see it clearly, right at the tip of your nose. Now I will count to 3, and once I do, you will visualize bringing the black marble directly into the diamond at the heart center. And the moment it touches the diamond, a burst of radiant light shines in all directions. Okay, so get ready. Take a deep breath, inhale. 1, 2, and 3. Bring the marble directly into the diamond, and the moment it touches, light shines in all directions. That negative emotion is completely dissolved. The pattern is gone. Its power has vanished. You have transformed. So now look again at your future self, the one who no longer carries this emotion. Is peaceful, happy, free, full of wisdom. So you just help your future self. You're changing your future. You're creating new seeds for tomorrow to stop this negative emotion. And when you're ready, feeling very happy, gently you can open your eyes. Thank you so much, guys. We're ready to start our Sunshine's Tower class. See you next Saturday at the same time for our last and final class. We will share very practical advices and we will have time for questions. So we hope to see you next class. Thank you so much, Word.
Thank you, Pal. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, translators.
Enjoy next class with wonderful translators.
Bye.
Bye.